Hello once again, everybody. Welcome back to the Monster Hobbies model build garage party thing that I do every Saturday. So again, I'm going to be carrying on with the 1977 Ford Coca-Cola van. I, of course, am Trevor Slescu, owner of Monster Hobbies in High River, Alberta. If you need anything from our hobby shop, don't forget to check us out at www.monster-hobbies.ca, and I left a link for it up here in the sidebar. So if you have any questions again, don't forget to write them in the sidebar, and we'll begin building here. Just show you this again. Got the nice red wall tires, the Coke machine, the two crates, and then the nice white truck, and a look at our decal sheet on here. So pardon me, it's Alberta. We're getting the dry weather. So with that dry weather, of course, I need some Coke to drink. Pretty perfect timing for our Coke van build. Anyway, if you are looking for some Monster Hobbies van, of course, you can always get these neat stickers that we have over on our website. Just apply them to the side of your build. So what did everybody bring today? Something cool, I hope. Did anyone figure or finish anything from last week? I see we got Big Charlie in the house. How's it going, Big Charlie? Hope you're doing fine. So now we've got snow up here in Alberta. Just started where I am anyway. Just a little bit of snowy fun. Hopefully it's not too snowy where you are. Where's the rum? Yeah, that's if I want to get an 18 plus rating on the channel, which I don't. At any rate. Even then, I couldn't drink any of that stuff anyway because I have to go off and drive around town after this live stream's over. Yes, I have someone in town whose order came in from the store, so I need to deliver. Yeah, you can drink a Pepsi. That's okay. It's not like I'm sponsored from anybody, just myself. I'm my own sponsor. So if you're looking for model kits, come to me because I'm my own sponsor. Let's see what everybody's saying here. Big Charlie's working on a 1/12 scale 67 Corvette by Monogram, and he's drinking water. Well, that's a healthy choice. Okay, now I got to figure out where I left off with this. So didn't do the body, did the interior tub, or where the seats go. I got the bars glued on the bottom. I got the frame together. Is it me or does it look a little bit better on my camera today for some reason? Okay, so frame rails. Oh, I forgot the piece of paper to cover the keyboard from getting dust inside it. So let me find something there. There we go. All right, got the chrome windows. The one and only inner panel that doesn't have a crack or a warp in it. How many of you saw the cuckoo nest video yesterday? That was a good one. There's all the interior. I should do a video on what causes flash. I don't know if people know that or not. Maybe for some of the younger viewers out there in the audience. Oh, where's all the stuff I cleaned up on here? Oh, interesting. What was that little cross brace for? So I got the differential together. Yeah, exhaust pipes, manifold. They're okay. Okay, well, that was a fun session. We'll see you next week. No, just kidding. What comes next in the instructions? Does the Coke machine have decals you can put on the back door of the van to make it look like a Coke machine is on it? It's door. I don't know. That's interesting. I don't think so. Those are the ones for the Coke machine. Right there. So they're kind of specific as to going on the Coke machine in a certain way. So I don't think you could really incorporate that into the back door unless you somehow want to cut and size this. No, even then it's too big. Empty right over the roof. But there is that crazy hot rod that's done up like a Coke machine. There's our body there. Maybe I should do the body. I kind of want to do the engine. Well, at least this is the laid back live stream for the day. Tomorrow is when I do the sales live stream, but I sold 2 model cars and I don't have anything new. Oh, I did find these. This might be funny for somebody. NASCAR trading cards. Some of the drivers. Let's see if I can find a car here. There's a car. These are from like 1992. I discovered I've got about 200 of these things. So I'll put them on my website sometime. All kinds of goodies. Yeah, that was the front suspension. Still, that's weird. Where's that little teeny brace? No, that's not it, because that was already in there. Or did I miss it? Where is that? Oh no, that must be where it goes. Yeah. Let us remedy that first. Where did I see that? There's one little cross brace supposed to go in here, this notch. Let's see if it does. It does. Okay, let's get out those clippers. What a mess. These are really nice ones, the Xuron clippers. But now they're on the floor. Okay. So these ones have that nice angle in them, and then the cutting blade allows it to clip off nice and clean. If you ever pick any of these up, it's well worth it. We do have a tool section over on the website too, but I don't have any Xuron clippers. However, I could bring some in, I suppose. Okay, so just get rid of those parts tree bits. Yeah, so glad so many people can join us on this little live stream adventure of mine. It's where you actually get to see me make a model in all its glory. Try not to blow any of the plastic dust into my Coke. Plastids. One of the model car magazines back in the 90s had this article on plastids. Plastids are like little bugs that eat styrene plastic. And they showed a picture in the magazine there of a model car kit from the 60s, and all that was left was just a little bit, and the plastids had eaten the whole model car, most of the parts trees. Then it turned out it was just an April Fool's joke. There is no such beast called a plastid. But it was supposed to be the dust was what the plastids ate and left behind of your model. Anyway, yeah, it just turned out to be an April Fool's edition. And they had to explain that one to a whole bunch of people the next magazine that it was just an April Fool's joke. People are ripping through boxes of like 1965 model cars, having a freak out that the little bugs are eating them. Oh man. Okay, so there's a couple little mold marks on the back of this cross brace, which don't want to come out right away. Yeah, not so on this channel, not only do you get to build a model with me, you also get to listen to all my crazy little stories from the past. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Did they have a red molded body for white decals? Number one asks. I've only seen this molded in white, so, but you can paint it red, of course. They do have the both options for the white and red van. I'm not quite sure how I want to paint mine. Pink, right in the middle. No, anyway. And right now we've got snow, so I don't think I'll be able to paint this for a while, which is really sad. Yeah, okay. No. This was your father's lightsaber. He wanted me to have it, but your uncle wouldn't allow it. Anyway. Another wonderful moment with Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Ah, boy. So I'm just going to apply a little Tester's liquid glue back here and there. And I'll drop this carefully in there. Now, is that parallel or not? Doesn't look like it. Quiet moments. There's two little holes in this cross brace. Wonder what they, if they link up to anything. Still got the keys to the old barn. I'm not in a barn. I'm in the suburbs. I would sure love to have a shed or something, though. I just paint off the edge of the back porch. How do you find farm moisture? Number one, having fun. Number one, engage. Okay, anyway. All right. You know what? I think I will work on this nice 351 Windsor motor. At least that's what the cruising van called it. Which probably is anyway. Now let's see. Oh, I think I understand what. Okay, I get the reference now. Go check out a new guy. Back in Action Model Collections. Check out a new guy. Hey, Charlie, come on. This is a tiki mug. My in-laws brought it from Mexico, I think. Okay, let's get our engine block going. Okay, so what I'll do on the engine block here, just to get this a little more precise, is just take my sanding block, carefully run the engine block there. Yeah, when number one here is saying, how do you farm moisture anyway, and what makes the milk blue? He's talking about the Star Wars reference I made about Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru before. Didn't clue into that at first. Okay, so here's another thing my uncle used to always say. These little alignment pins, they can sometimes get knocked out of order or not be in the right place in the first place. And I don't know if Now you probably can't see that too well. But the transmission in here, the pan, is a little bit like this. So his suggestion back in the day, when I was a kid and everyone was still alive, is just to remove those alignment pins completely. Sand them right off, like I'm doing here. Remember to cross sand. So you want to go 45 this way for a little bit, and then go in the reverse angle. And then you can always go a little back and forth. Make sure you don't blow your dust into your Coca-Cola. Okay, so now I just check to make sure those pins are actually gone. Yeah, so now you've got the mobility to move this way and up and down, whichever way you desire, in order to get that alignment perfect on the two halves of the engine block. So just take our Testors glue and go along. So I got glue on the one side and glue on my fingers. And I'll just get ready for the fine-tuned seeing. So now I can carefully align this transmission and engine block. Yeah, I got glue right on that seam. Let me just go forward and back. Forward again with the two-hand swing and all the way back to the start again. The head two sachet down the middle. And everybody sings. Ah, man. I don't think they torture kids anymore with square dancing at school, do they? At least my daughters haven't said anything about it. But I remember that was a big thing back in the 80s. Had to all learn square dancing. And then some of the kids figured that, you know, when they did you held hands and you went around in a circle and then you stomped your feet or something. Some of the kids figured if they stomped hard enough, they could skip the record right off. And the record player was on the stage and we were all down below in the gymnasium doing square dancing. And some of my kids in the class were smart enough to figure out if you stomped hard enough and everybody did it all at once, it would skip the record off. That's how we got out of square dancing. That was funny. I should tell you about my neighbor's dad. So many fun times back in the past, I'll tell you. So my neighbor's dad used to take us all down to the park and the beach and things like that when we were kids playing together. And he would take us to play baseball. Of course, we were pretty young at the time. So the pitcher would throw us a ball. Oh no, I think he would throw us a ball. And we had the bat to hit the baseball, of course, and he'd say, all right, you guys, you can do it. Come on, Trevor, you can hit the ball. And then he'd throw the ball, and of course, miss, right? So, okay, don't worry. Throw the ball. You can hit the ball. So then a miss. So after about 4 or 5 times of this, he would stop saying, oh, you can hit the ball, and just say, hit the damn ball. That's the way it was. Hit the damn thing. Anyway. Okay, so we got the valve covers, and I'll just get rid of the little things there. Sand the damn thing. Get a lot of weird dust going around in here. It must be from Wednesday when I dusted all the model cars. So I'm just going to switch the number 16 blade with the number 11 here. so I can scrape some stuff. All right. So yeah, there we go. I still have to put those Hot Wheel cars up on the monster-hobbies.ca website. Just kind of got busy through this week, even though not a lot happened this week. Well, I guess it kind of did. Of course, we're getting into this Christmas season. Where my wife works, she works in a fast food restaurant, and there's only like 3 people ever on. They're going through sort of I don't know, like with COVID, a lot of people are kind of reevaluating all these jobs they used to be in prior to COVID. And they're trying to make their fame and fortune on the internet, sort of like myself. Vagabonds of a digital age. I don't know. So anyway, my wife is working at fast food. She likes to do that, believe it or not. And no, anyway. Um, so she's telling me that everybody up there is quitting left, right, and center. And they fast food, of course, a high turnover rate anyway. They don't want to pay anybody full time. They just want to get everybody 38 hours so they don't have to pay the overtime and all that jazz. So they're down to 3 people. And of course, she's one of the reliable ones. And anytime anybody decides that they want to duck out for the day, my wife has to fill everybody's shifts. So trying to shop for the holidays. We only have 1 vehicle. So that makes it into the runaround. And now we're getting snow. So I become the dad taxi while I'm trying to run the hobby shop as well. So everything's just kind of a muddle right now, but should be able to get through it. So there's a little bit of a sink mark on this cylinder head right in there. It's not picking up too well, but yeah, it's there. How is everybody's models going? Are you getting anything done out there? Having fun getting it done? That 1/12 scale model that Big Charlie's working on, that's going to take up quite a bit of room there. I've got a 1/8 scale model, pardon me, of one of those Lindbergh Model T Roadster hot rod things. But that it's got tires like that big around. So I don't know where I'm going to be putting that if I ever get it done, if I ever even start it. And it's got those funny seats in there that are sort of rubbery soft, So what actually glues that in? Probably crazy glue. But I'm not too sure. And then of course trying to sand out seam lines and little things on that rubber stuff is almost impossible because the knife just wants to move away from it all the time. So yeah, what do you say there? So I'm just scraping down this 351 Windsor valve cover. And you'll notice I'm letting that engine block, the glue on the engine block, dry. And that's why I'm doing cleaning up all these other little components as we go along. Just nice to kind of get back to building model cars. I haven't really built any since I pretty much moved out here to Alberta. That never stopped me from buying them. I have the Big Red Rod by Lindbergh. So where do you put those, Big Charlie? Do you got a dedicated spot that's not full of boxes, books, and stuff from a hobby shop you had to close out? No, it's just kidding. I had to close out a hobby shop, but I'm online. That's one good thing about the internet. Yeah, it's so funny. Everybody said when I was running the store, the brick and mortar, everybody constantly told me, "Oh, you got to be on the internet. You got to be on the internet. Everybody's selling everything on the internet. That's why you're not selling anything in your store, because everybody's on the internet." So what happens? I close the store down, and on the door, still, because the landlord there has not taken off the sticker from the door. And it's one of these, right on my door, this big. What's down here? Website. I've had the website for about, oh man, since I opened. And I have had two. One that I had when I opened, and then I got a better one. So what do they figure? Oh, Trevor doesn't have his hobby store in this building anymore. Well, I guess he's dead. He packed it all in. Here's my telephone number. Here's my web address. Can somebody please look that up when I go to the empty building? Nope. Crazy. Okay, so we're joined by Harry Satin and JC Kearns. Is that right? I'm getting glasses distortion here. And my good buddy Big Charlie. So what are they saying? Harry is saying afternoon. JC Kearns is saying, I turned the large scale Serpent into a nice roadster after sanding the scales off the body and a few mods of my own. Nice. Big Charlie says he built shelves. That's big though for 1/8 scale. And JC Kern says he bought 2 Serpent kits. That's the motorbike chopper thing, isn't it? Or am I thinking of something else? Okay, what's going on with this valve cover? Yeah, be online, they say. Not realizing that I've been online for a decade. Anyway, I think my wife and kid is home, which means I should close this door behind me. Hang on. There we go. Shut out the outside world. The world of online. Okay. So if you're just joining us, I'm working on the 77 Ford van Coca-Cola Edition. I'm just cleaning up all the parts for the engine. I'd show you the lid, but I kind of buried it in my box here. So what are you working on? Let us know over here in the sidebar. Serpent is a modified roadster. Lindbergh kit, I think. I must look it up. Okay, so here's the oil pan with the starter on the side. Lindbergh Serpent, yeah. Groovy. Well, I do have a 2 liter of Coke. I guess this live stream ends when I can't have to finish drinking and do something else. Yeah, I'm glad so many people are joining us for this little build party. I wasn't too sure how successful it would be, but we're already into 3 episodes, and it seems like there's usually an average of 6 to 12 people that join in these things, so that's pretty good. And of course, I think many people are doing their Christmas shopping and everything else, so I have not had a chance to start. And I don't even know what I want. I don't think I really want much. Just my 2 front teeth, so I can wish you a Merry Christmas. Oh, yeah, they're already there. Building the 41 Plymouth Coca-Cola, turning it into the Moonshine Runner. Nice. Coca-Cola Moonshine. In a world where soft drinks are made illegal, one man, one man alone, took an old 41 Plymouth out of mothballs from a secret garage and turned it into the Coca-Cola Moonshine Runner. Watch Quentin Tarantino's latest film, We are also joined by 1964 BC, painting the Cameo truck box for the third time. And Big Charlie says we shop all year for Christmas. So that is the smart way to do that. Um, my mom, she used to shop all day for Christmas, or all day, all year for Christmas, and birthdays. And then whenever somebody's birthday or holiday came up, mom would take one of us kids into her bedroom there, and then she'd have all the presents laid out on the bed. She'd say, "Which one do you want to give your sister this year?" "Oh, okay. How about this?" "Okay." And then, "What about your other sister?" "This one." "Okay." And then we'll give them the rest and whatever. And then that's how she worked it. And I wish I was smart enough and had enough money and foresight to do that for my kids. But we usually end up running around like chickens with our heads cut off at the end, trying to gather everything. And like the only places that are open, because my wife works crazy hours, is like Walmart or something. So yeah, comes a very Walmart Christmas very quickly. Anyway, what I'd really like to do is just save up money and go somewhere, because we never get to go anywhere. And it's all those goofy hours all the time. So it's like you plan for something and then you get the phone call. "Can you come in? Come in and work? Somebody fell down. Somebody's sick. Somebody's whatever. Somebody's, you know. Anyway, that's the way it goes. Life at 47 with kids. Never expected it to be quite this way. Oh well. Yeah. Wish I could have lived like my dad lived. Worked for the telephone company, and then mom didn't have to work. One pension, or one what do you call it? One paycheck covered everything. Got all us kids into school and college and all that jazz. It's like, why could I not have been able to do that? Of course, when I started work, it was the 90s, and that was sort of this really weird time in history when nobody was leaving their jobs, like retiring, and there was no jobs open. So I don't know. The plight of Generation X. Who else went through that? Still seems like we can't really get a career going, but maybe that's just me. I guess I'm a career hobby shop guy. I can answer almost most of your questions. What's everybody saying over here? Harry Sutton. I sanded down the Coca-Cola bottles. They now look really good, like shine jars. And JC is saying, as soon as snow flies in Iowa, I will start where I left off this spring with car hauler trailers, a Kenworth conventional, then probably on to the Smokey and the Bandit semi-trailer. That'll be cool. Same thing here. Okay, what's he saying? Oh, about the jobs or something? I don't know. If you're looking for moonshine barrels, look for the Beverly Hillbillies. What do you call it? Beverly Hillbillies truck, because on there they've got the actual like mug jug beer drinking ones, from there, the Okefenokee places or whatever. Okay, so there's our engine block. Oh yeah, 1964 BC. Yeah, the early 90s jobs. Then they called our generation the McJob generation, because all of us started in McDonald's, except for me. I actually, I did not do too badly. I started in, well, okay, my sister was a dog groomer. So when I was about 13 or 14, I helped her out. She actually worked in a pet store for somebody. And then she couldn't really do that much. Well, she did for a few years, couldn't do it more because the vibration of the dog clippers started to get to her. So she quit that. But then when I graduated, I worked for a research and development company. They were making test blades for a jet turbine engine. And the company got into casting those blades. So they used a wax mold. They make the blade out of wax, and then they pour metal into it. So doing model building, I got to clean those wax blade plug things. And then afterwards, we, with grinders, we ground down the actual blades themselves. So I kind of lucked into something sort of decent, but I don't know. I also have many different certificates and degrees for things, but that never really panned out. Got an auto body collision certificate and degree. I am a quality inspector. I worked. I got my. I went back to school a few times in the 90s. Took chemistry. I could have been a plastic technician, but that didn't work out. The math was crazy. Harry Satin is saying early 90s, I was working in a body shop. Sounds like me. Started working part time in high school in 88. Yeah, I graduated in 92, so we're not too far off. I got out with a degree in auto body. Oh, wait. I got out with a degree in mechanics. I took 5 years of high school mechanics and got straight A's. Signed up for scholarship. I got 2 scholarships. One in auto body collision repair, which I wish I never signed in for. That was crazy. And then another one was like a cash, whatever type scholarship, just to help kids pay for the tuition and books and whatever. So that's where I got that certificate. And then after that, it was kind of a failure. And then went back to school. So I graduated with introductory math 10 or something like that. Never got math 11 or 12. So then I went back to night school, high school courses. And I got my math 11 and 12, chemistry 11 and 12, physics 11 and 12. What else? Maybe that was about it. And then then I went and took the plastics technology course. My dad and I went and looked at it when I was in high school, but then I took it about 94 or 5 or somewhere in there. Oh man. I took the plastics technology course, and in that very first year, about 6 months in, the school went on strike because the teachers demanded more wages or whatever the heck it was. And then when we came back to school, I was struggling with the math to begin with because this was like way advanced stuff. We took a course called statics, and that was part of the physics portion. So statics is if you've got a block like this and it's sitting there, how much gravitational force is going down this way, exerting on the block. And then you got to figure that out using this complicated mathematical formula. And then, yeah. And then they started doing stuff like, okay, now this block that's like that is on a slope on a hill like this. How much G forces and everything are going in through this way and all these other angles. And you had to sit there and figure it all out. Oh. And then that was in one building where we did that. And then the next building we did chemistry. So my heritage comes from Romania, but no one's set foot there since the 1800s, although I did later. So anyway, the teacher there was from Romania. And she just figured that I had the same education as a kid in Romania did, which of course they have the big, that was the one thing they said about the old communist system is everybody had a good education, because I guess you were educated to fit right into whatever job the communist government needed you to fit into. So she figured I had that education, where they're teaching kindergarten kids advanced dynamic nuclear physics or some craziness, right? Of course I didn't, so she kept saying, oh, you should be able to do this, no problem, you should be better, it's like, so then they went on strike, and then when we came back it was like, I don't know how to do anything anymore, so I got my money back out of that course and quit it. But the quality inspector course was a lot better. I just wish my book didn't get wrecked in the flood. Okay, so let's see what everyone's saying. So Big Charlie says he took diesel mechanics and then became a truck driver. JC Kern said, I've had 35 jobs in as many years, and he can do anything. Before I moved out here to Alberta, where there's something called a partial job security, unlike BC in the 90s, I had over 42. And they'd last like a month, 2 months, 3 months. And the thing about it is, back in the 90s, like that sounds like a terrible work record, right? 40 jobs in 7 years, I think it was. But what was going on in BC at the time was, so you'd write up a resume, whatever you needed, and you would go out into the work world. Sorry, just looking at the end of this transmission, it's a little bit angled here. So you go out into the work world, and at that time, it was like really like, I don't know, job gambling, because you would bring in your resume, you get the job, you get hired, and then it was like your life was on a roulette wheel. So you had these kind of things, or at least this is what I experienced. So the first was you get laid off because the business was struggling, so they had to lay you off. You'd get fired because of whatever, some stupid reason. You'd quit because your boss was doing something stupid to you. Like, I quit because they were not legally, in one place I worked, they were not legally declaring paychecks and not paying us on time. So I left that. Or the business would go bankrupt. Or uh, I had one boss have a nervous breakdown. And this would happen like every 3 to 5 months. So then you'd have to leave that place, go find another. Then, maybe I can survive that. Oh, no, that other thing happened. Okay, well, maybe, okay, here's the next job. Maybe I can last there. Oh, no, no. They're laying everyone off now. So I was in a research and development place. I was a auto body detailer. I actually have a good story on that one, but unfortunately it didn't happen. I sent out a whole bunch of resumes, like 60 resumes all over the place. And I was trying to get in as a car detailer because that's not too bad of a job that pays okay. And in North Vancouver, there was a car dealership that dealt with Ferraris, Hummers, um, Lamborghinis, Mercedes, like the real top end luxury cars. And I left a resume there. And then I moved out to Alberta and I got an apartment and I started establishing myself out in Alberta. And then my mom phones and she says, "Hey, that place," this is like 2 years later, "that place where they do the really expensive cars, they phoned you. They want to hire you." Too late now. Anyway, so I never moved back. But I could be detailing Mercedes and Ferraris and things, but whatever. Maybe I can still get that job. Give up my life of YouTube. Nah, I can't leave you guys. Okay, so what's everybody saying here? Okay, Harry Satin is saying, "Oh man, messing with your education." JC says, "I wasted time in cash and on school too. Number one, I signed up for this channel because I was told there would be no math." I hope not. Sounds like that old Saturday Night Live sketch where Chevy Chase was supposed to be one of the presidents or something, and they're asking him these questions. He's like, "I didn't think there'd be any math." Uh, Gustavo is saying, "Hello, friends. Hello." Harry said, "Oh my God, my grandma was from Romania on my father's side." Uh, okay, everybody's just saying hello. I worked at Charles Gabus Ford in Des Moines, Iowa when I was 22 in 87. It was a blast. It was Charles' right hand. I was Charles' right hand man for 2 years. Hey, Dakota. Nice to see you. Nice to see Jovic and Freeman JPLK. Sorry, I was going to say LX. Yeah, just talking about crummy jobs we had. I don't know. But it's funny. Then I moved out to Alberta here. And I had my first job that lasted over 2 years, and that was in a steel foundry. But again, goofy stuff. Like, oh man. Some of the people in that steel foundry. Just totally childish and dangerous. So we were all grinding steel, the steel grinder guys. So I ended up being a steel grinder guy. There was, of course, guys that were pouring the metal, guys that were welding. Um, let's see, welding, pouring, casting, grinding, and then the business guys that kept it all going. You know, the office guys that kept it all going. So we were making all these castings for the oil and gas industry because that's what Alberta is all about. And yes, lots of immigrants and everybody working in there. So there was always the little groups. They say we're all supposed to melt together in this world, and then they form the little groups and don't let you in. So anyway, oh man, so the grinder guys got into this game where they would take the little chunks of metal, like the slag bits, and cut them off, and then they start throwing them at each other like bullets, hand thrown bullets. I had to get out of there. Gustavo says, "I think Chevy Chase would be better than Bolsonaro in my country." I don't know who that is. You have to let us know. Yeah, and then, oh man, some guys would have the grinder, and these are going at like 28,000 RPM or something. These grinders, And there was one guy, he would be grinding on this big. There's the guys downstairs were doing the great big castings. We were doing the hand size ones upstairs. And this guy would fall asleep with the grinder on, and he'd be going asleep with a 22,000 RPM grinder. At any point, that thing could have gone off, cut him in half. God, you name it. And they did that every day, and the bosses knew about it. They just let it go. They they fired those guys and hired them back 2 weeks later. We had the overhead cranes operated with a hand thingy. And these guys, you're supposed to take a chain with hooks, wrap it around the casting, chain up the chain to the hook the hooks of the chain onto the chain, loop it around. So if you got something round, like my arm here, you take the chain and you loop it, and then you click the hook so that the cord went up, right? And then you put the one on the other side, and then you hook it to the hook on the crane and lift it so the crane could lift it on both ends evenly. These guys would just they were told, they were all shown how it works, and what would they do? Well, they would just take the they would take the chain from the crane and wrap it around the neck of whatever piece they were going to move, and then hit the button. Well, of course, the motor was struggling and everything. The crane chain almost snapped in half, almost dropped the casting on the guy that was sleeping. Like, talk about complete, utter danger and no regard for human life. Man, that was crazy. So anyway, that was my partial reason of getting out of that steel foundry. And then the other part was I get sort of like a bronchitis thing going on. So I was going to the doctor, and the doctor said, so what do you do for a living? And I said, oh, I work at a steel foundry. And he says, get out. You got 2 years left to live if you keep doing it. So I was like, okay, I'm gone. So once I was out, then my lungs weren't getting all scratched up, and I had a better chance in life. So here I am today, making models with you. Ah, boy. Okay, there's an interesting little bit here on this oil pan. It seems to be hitting into the transmission just a bit. So it's sitting a little bit up at an angle, which I don't know if you can see too well. So what I'll do is just sand this back piece a little bit, see if I can't bring it into better shape. So after the steel foundry is really when I started the original Monster Hobbies. That was at a flea market. Flea market, of course, where you go and there's lots of other people selling and vending stuff. So that was Monster Hobbies number 1. Oh, that fits way better now. Kind of. Well, at least it's flat. Yeah, no, those guys that were throwing the steel were not married to anybody's daughters, but they kept them there. I guess nobody wanted to grind those big castings, so they needed to hire them back. Otherwise, they wouldn't get them done. Oh, and those guys, oh man, that was the other thing. So in the bathroom, they had one of those boxes with the hand towels, and you take like one or two and you dry your hands and throw them in the thing. Those guys used to go on the hand towel and have a wad that big and then go like the boss got mad at that. What a waste. And the steel foundry as well. They were cheap. There's a grinder bit that goes on the end of the other type of grinder we had, like the long rod ones. And these were sort of the size of your finger, like here to there, right? A cone. And those ones were for, there was three types: soft metal, medium metal, and the hard metal that we were casting in. So the boss, because the soft metal ones were cheaper than the hard metal ones, they always bought the soft metal ones. Stuff for aluminum, right? We're doing steel. So, of course, you put the aluminum ones in. The boss wants you to do like 100 castings with the aluminum ones. You go, and they just turn into dust. So we were going through those like crazy, and the boss was getting mad that we were going through them. And it's like, spend the extra 50 cents and get the, the proper ones, will you? Like, then we won't go through them like they're water, because they will last. Couldn't see it. So we all got in trouble constantly, and they kept putting those same stupid ones back in. So I wish them well. Anyway, okay, I've got the seam line scraped down on that engine block and transmission. So now I will just put the oil pan in place. And now it's a little bit angled in here, so if I just manipulate it a little bit, I can have it nice and even. Unfortunately, the starter motor that's molded onto the oil pan does not line up with the starter motor bump. They should actually be sticking right out of each other. So if you want to build this like not just out of the box like I'm doing, my suggestion would be to I was almost going to say just take your saw and cut the starter motor off, but then it leaves because the pan has got the ridge around it, but not there. So if you sawed it off, that ridge would be gone. So maybe hunt up in your parts box another transmission pan that looks like that. Hopefully it doesn't. Might rely on the frame. I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, it does rely on the frame. There's an engine mount right there for it. Funny how offset this motor is. It's not straight up the center of the frame. But at any rate, I was going to suggest just find a better oil pan and a proper starter motor separate, but it doesn't seem to be quite that way. Okay, so what can I do next here? Just going to take the underneath of the intake manifold and just give it a little, try to make this true as in nice and square. So it's so nice so many people can join us. We've got 12 people now at our build party. So just a big hello to everybody. Thank you for checking it out and listening to my crazy stories of work. Oh, Big Charlie's got to get going. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Big Charlie. Have a nice weekend, and I'll be on tomorrow. I guess I'll do another one of the here's what we got in the hobby shop type videos. I need to get some more stuff. I need people to Christmas shop, and then I can get new models for the new year. That would be fun. It's quite a few things. I can still deal with my original wholesaler that I got the model cars from back in the day. But the wholesaler, they want large orders, of course, because it makes no sense to send one or two things up. So I would like to get some of the new, like the 63 Chevy and whatever else is going on. It's been a little while since I saw things. I want to bring those in for everybody. But in the meantime, I have a friend in town who's selling his collection to me. So I want to get more of his stuff to show you guys. And there's like all kinds of NASCARs. There's classics. Okay, so I got the two. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Okay, so there's a little alignment bump on the top of the engine. I'm going to sand that right off so I can get this top of the engine block nice and square. And then I will drop on that intake manifold and then slide the cylinder heads up to match. Oh, and I forgot that there's mold marks on top of the intake manifold. So we just switch out the number 11 blade for our number 16. So how many people watched the Cuckoo Nest Ford video from yesterday? Did you like that one? That was had Danny the dog in it. I got a lot of good response about people with that, seeing Danny again, because I've been using Danny for what do you call him? What have I been doing with Danny recently? Tips and tech videos is where Danny and I get together, and then I haven't been making any of those recently. So I let Danny unbox that model with me. And a lot of people like that, like to see him again. So maybe I should do some more unboxings with Danny in the future. Got 1978 coming up. I haven't had a chance to shoot any of those yet. Next week we're doing the GMC Wrecker. That is my last 1977 kit. See, more people are saying hi. Oh, 1964 BC saw it. And then how many of you guys checked out the Chop Chop Recipes YouTube channel? When I did the little bulgogi chicken ad. In case you're wondering, those people at the Chop Chop Recipes, I belong to a YouTube group or a Facebook group where we talk about like getting more people to view your channels and what are the things you need for that, right? So the Chop Chop Recipes people are on that, so I thought I'd help them out by getting a little exposure for them. And then of course I made some of their dishes there, which are pretty nice. Making that bulgogi sauce, you can use it for beef, or I think the original video that they made was pork, but I didn't have any. I just had chicken. And of course, you can add in the sesame seeds and the Sesame Street. So I'll probably run that little bulgogi ad in a few more videos and take it from there. It's my little way of helping out the YouTube community. Okay, so there we go. Found the site, 1964 BC. I got to try one of their. They make noodles. That's what they want to do on their channel. We had a discussion with them about what focus they wanted to get into, and they used to have a Christmas cake recipe, and that was their biggest, most popular video, and they decided they didn't want it on there anymore, so they took it off. But at any rate, so they've got they did a recent video on using garlic oil. I never heard of that before. So, but we all got to eat. So there we go. Anyway. Okay, so I got that timing chain cover now. Just get rid of some of those mold marks. How are we doing on time? 2 o'clock. Been an hour and 5 minutes so far. How's everyone's projects going? Getting things done? Yeah, I figure I've got the website already. I had it before we had to close the hobby shop down. But I do believe that it might take me a year or so to sort of get it up to some kind of level like Hobby Lobby or Mega Hobbies in the States or Cult TV Man or something like that. Uh, what I'm thinking I'd like to do is I know that those guys advertised a lot in like Model Railroader magazine and Car Modeler and all that sort of stuff back in the day. So I think maybe if I kind of follow that lead, I might be able to make Monster Hobbies more like accessible, I guess you call it, to the hobbyist. See, the whole problem with advertising is when these advertisers call, well, naturally they want you to hook up with what they're doing, right? But apart from that, there's sort of two ways to advertise. One is called vertical, and the other is horizontal. So vertical is like you guys, my Monster Hobbies mechanics out here. Whoops. I see people are typing. So vertical advertising is like I'm hitting a specific group. So model car people, right? Model car hobbyists, or even just hobbyists in general. Going vertical is trying to convince, or horizontal is trying to convince, like people that are not in a hobby or a niche to all of a sudden become in that hobby or niche. So I'm trying to advertise model cars to football jocks, farmers, grandmas, things like that when I'm going horizontal. But when I'm going vertical, I'm looking straight for people that are model car builders or whatever that are actually like targeted advertising. So of course, the problem is when you're dealing with these advertising companies is that they want you to go vertical, uh, or sorry, horizontal. And a lot of them really do not have the concept as to what a hobby shop is. So like I remember the first time I advertised with the radio, and they had somebody write an ad for me. This is like the one and only time I let somebody propose an ad. So the ad was this father and kid are are playing with cars somehow, and this is supposed to lead them to Monster Hobbies. And the ad kind of, uh, it was cringe. The ad started off with sound effect. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Ooh, crash. Ooh, daddy, I like my model cars. And you can get your cars at Monster Hobbies. It's like, shoot me, somebody. That is horrible. So I ended up writing my own ads. Never let anybody write the ads for me. Totally out of touch. Totally tone deaf. So they figured hobbies are for little kids, little 8-year-old or 6-year-olds or something like that. Eesh. Okay. what's everyone saying? Harry Satin is saying, I cut open the trunk on the Plymouth and added hinges to the lid and finished up the trunk floor. Nice. Number one says, get a food truck, but make it a hobby truck. Yeah. How about a Monster Hobbies one? Harry Satin says, good idea. Take the hobby truck to car shows and I'll sell. Yeah, but again, the only downside to that is when you start going out to those things, everybody wants you to sell them stuff for nothing. So it doesn't totally work. Anyway, and you got to look at it this way. Walmart doesn't take a truck around to stuff and try to sell stuff out the side of a truck. So, I mean, not to put the idea down or anything, but I want to try to be the sort of that upper hobby shop. Yes, more promotion online. More promotion is really the way to do it. Number one, Danny should star in a short movie titled Danny Meets Frankenstein from Munster. I have another character called Floyd, which was the guy that's over on my Monster. I've got another channel called the Monster Hobbies Monster Model Dungeon. And that one is where all the I unbox all the monster kits, and where we I make the videos for our build a monster contest. That's my Halloween contest. But I don't know. Danny could meet Floyd, I guess, if I can figure out how to move the camera around. Let's see. The second little issue. How do you, without me being Jim Henson, how do you do all that stuff, right? Although I do have a bunch of old computers still. We have our vehicle decorated, and my wife goes and parks that up in the fast food restaurant parking lot where she works. So I've got a lot of people that say, "Oh, I saw your truck up there," so that's good. But I got to redo all these logos because we're not here anymore at the store location. So I need to make it say Monster Hobbies and then have it say online. And I got to go rip off all the logos on the side windows that say the old store. Okay, these valve covers. So I can see why some people have difficulty with this van model now. I know my good friend warned me about this thing, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. Because again, I just take my uncle's advice and cut off all the location tabs. Can you see that? There's one up there. Chop those off, and these valve covers will just fall on there perfectly. So really, it's not that difficult. It's just you've got to remove stuff that wasn't really in the plan to remove anyway. I got to be careful with this saw. I did actually slice my finger with this thing once. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind the saw. Let's use the Xuron cutters. Yeah, so I think, now, of course, in all these videos, I always say to go to www.monster-hobbies.ca for all your model building needs. Free shipping within Canada, over $75 orders, or order stuff, and if it's more than $75, you get free shipping, I guess is the correct way to say that. We accept we accept credit cards, and we can use PayPal, and we have a secure online shopping cart system. So any information you share with us for that purchase, it disappears at the when it gets processed. So like if you use your credit card, all that just goes away. Like from my end, I can't access it. I'm not selling your stuff to anybody. You know, it's just you, me, and the item. And if you enter the promo code YouTube, you can save 10% off all your purchases forever. Just remember to enter that in at the shopping cart. And you too will have lots of fun. And we can ship worldwide. I just shipped something off to Italy not too long ago. And actually, yeah, hey, I can show you the map. Okay, check this out. This is pretty neat. I can show you two maps. So we'll start with the North American continent. So here we are in Canada. Can you see these pins okay? So I've sent stuff to British Columbia, Alberta, the Yukon, the Northwest Territories just a little while ago, and then Ontario and Quebec and Nova Scotia. So all out to the eastern seaboard. And then this is over like all my years with the website. So then we got into the States. You can see quite a lot going into America. And I know that's always seems to be the big thing. It's like when you go on eBay and you're a Canadian and you see something in the States that you want to buy, and it always says, we do not ship to Canada. You know, like Canada is this big foreign country out in, you know, the far side of Pluto or something crazy like that. And yet, look at how close we are. See, there's a border right here. Just we're above. Okay. So that's what I mean. What I'm trying to say is I can ship down to the US. So that's not a problem. It's just not free shipping though. So I've gone into Seattle. Uh, so that would be Washington and Oregon, California a few times. Nothing in Nevada. I guess nobody likes me in Nevada. Or maybe they don't know about it. Uh, Arizona. So I got Phoenix and some little town outside there. And then looks like on the border of Montana and Wyoming. And then St. Paul, Minnesota, uh, Kansas. I did ship down into Mexico, but I didn't have a Mexican map, so I don't know where that is anymore. A couple of things into Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, a ship to Florida. Well, looks like West Palm Beach down there. And then we got some of the original 13 states. So Pennsylvania, Vermont. Oh, a pin fell out, but that was in New York. I hope I don't get that pin in the foot somewhere. Providence, Rhode Island, Philadelphia. There's so many little states down there, and the pins cover over everything. So that's where I got in the US. Then, okay, we moved the US map away. I got one to Brazil. I've got another one of these that says Australia. It's not here though. Then, look at this. It's like a corridor right down here. So that is United Kingdom, Belgium, Spain to Barcelona, Milan in Italy, a little place on the border. I don't know if this was France or Belgium. Or not Belgium, Switzerland. So I got one there on the border there. 3 in Germany, 1 in Belgium, 1 in the south tip of Sweden, and then 1 up by Stockholm, and then into Finland. So this is all Monster Hobbies orders that went all around the world. And of course, 1 in Australia. So what are people saying? Can I ship to Brazil? Yeah. You would be Brazil person number 2. I'd like to go to Brazil. I'd like to see that. Anywhere would be nicer than here right now, and the snow coming down. Where did I ship to? Oh, it looks like I had to move the pin here. Just north of Rio de Janeiro. Uh, it's kind of ripped up here. I don't know where it is, but just a bit north of Rio de Janeiro. Too bad that wasn't pins of where I've been in my life. That would be not meant to be just yet. Okay, so getting back to this. Yeah, so I'm shipping anywhere. Canada Post. I ship with Canada Post, so they can pretty much go anywhere and give you tracking numbers and everything else. So then we can see where your package is as it's going all through the planet. Never lost a package, so that's always good. But yeah, I basically have to build my website up. I've already got about 7,000 items on there. That's great to know. I'll make sure to let my friends all over know you are international. Yeah, that would be good. It's so hard to really keep that in people's minds that I'm international. The internet is the entire planet. And yet people still think locally. They have this local mindset. So you're supposed to be on the internet with the store, right? And people just figure that that means that I can ship within town, or that the audience that's looking at my website and YouTube videos and that are just all centralized in High River. I don't understand that at all. Uh, and then when I tell them or show them a map like this, where it's all going through France and Europe and whatever else, right? It's like they're baffled. They don't understand that at all. How could you mail something to France? I'm on the internet. Like, somebody just types in AMT model kit number 276 whatever, and if I've got one and the stars are aligned and the keywords are all correct and whatever, it's going to hit the top of the page. Then if that person figures that the price is all right or whatever, and agrees with the terms and conditions or whatever you want to call that, they order, and I take the process the you know credit card or the uh, PayPal or whatever it is, and put it in the box, take it to Canada Post, pay the shipping, and then 2 weeks later, like Dakota says, both my packages came within a week and were packaged great. Bang, you're done. But this whole concept, people don't get it, yet they want me to be on the web. What are you expecting? Or what are they expecting, I should say? I mean, I know my Monster Hobbies mechanics, all of you know that, like, are pretty web shopping savvy, I guess. But a lot of people, like, it just baffles me. Like, you wanted me to be on the web, yet you figure I'm gone because the brick and mortar store, the doors were closed. uh, they wouldn't ship to Canada, so it's not that dumb. Yeah, Jennifer here is saying, I always count on Canada, US in the past. I've found some items online they wouldn't ship to Canada, so it's not that dumb. No, I guess not, but still. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I don't understand why some of those eBay people in the States will not ship to Canada, because it really is just, you just put the address on there. You might have to pay another $5, but I find it's more expensive to ship back east than it is down south from Canada. I don't quite understand why, but uh, I think, yeah, I don't know why Canada sticks it to Canadians on shipping and postage. Yet, yeah, mailing down to something like Florida is almost cheaper than mailing to Toronto. Oh well. I get all that back from the accountant at the end of the year anyway. Well, percentage. It's write off shipping as a business expense. I wonder, is that. Okay, so I remove those little bits off the valve covers, or the cylinder heads. Now I can stick my valve covers on here. Nice and easy. These valve covers are like straight up and down, like the Buick nail head from the AMT 40 Ford Coupe kit. Wonder if that's really how they are. You're right about CP. Anyhow, thanks for the heads up. Yeah, no problems. Canada Post. Yeah, so that is how the the mailing and the shipping and all that work. The only thing that I'd like to do is when I close down the store, I have two big paint racks, a tester's one and a Games Workshop paint rack with a lot of paint. Tester's enamels, if you're wondering. Oh, I've also still got some of the old Model Master Tester's acrylics, but they're like military grays and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, Canada Post won't. Must be that Coke there. Canada Post won't let me ship those. They want UPS and those guys to ship it because all that stuff is hazardous materials. So, unfortunately, that's UPS. So, I don't know. I'll have to figure out how to ship that in such a way that I'm not paying $45 to ship 2 bottles of paint or something stupid. 1964 BC says that everything that he ordered from Monster Hobbies has always arrived nicely packaged and undamaged. That's good to know. So, good to know Canada Post isn't playing soccer with your packages or something crazy. Although I will admit I'm starting to run out of boxes. So I'll have to look into that. Can you believe it? At one point in time, I used to paint the boxes green. I painted them with house paint, then stuck the sticker on them so they looked nice. But then that just kind of got kind of dumb, actually, because people want their packages, and here I am sitting there painting the box with a brush. Like, yeah, that was the early days. So now I just print off a nice label with a little business card on there. Yeah, it works out a lot better. Let the printer do it all. One thing I got to mail out is the awards from the last Build a Monster contest. I also need to get those envelopes and some cardboard in there so when I mail out the awards, they don't get smushed. But yeah, it's always nice to know how these packages are going. Now we're getting into the Christmas rush with Canada Post, so I hope that, like, if people order stuff and they want it for Christmas, I hope they understand that every day that guarantee gets shorter and shorter. They were saying, I think they were telling me at the post office that as long as I can get out stuff before Cyber Monday, everything should be good. But I think it's already past the Cyber Monday, hasn't it? That was last Monday. So if you want something and you don't mind waiting till after Christmas, I could do that for you. But that's not me. That's Canada Post. So just to let you know. And that's why the Build a Monster uh, little award things take me a while to actually ship out because we get Halloween and then we get November right away. November, I'm trying to gear up for the Christmas season. And then all of a sudden we're in the Christmas season and then the packages are being slowed up at Canada Post. Uh, so I kind of try to mail them after the Christmas season. Well, then there's too much time stretch going on. Am I painting the engine by hand? Usually I will take these parts and tape them down. I've got like a one of those barbecue skewer things, so you can put it in the end of the transmission and then clip it on with a clip down below. Um, I would be spray painting these normally. I don't know. Do you need me to paint these by hand? I have to find my Ford paint color down in the basement, the old Testors one. It could happen. Oh, here's the hole enlarging tool. So you see it's got a point and then it broadens out. What you can't really see is this is actually a square rod. My dad made this thing. You just put it in the hole and twist. And you can apply a little more pressure. Makes a nice, perfect hole down the end here. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I think I do like being a hobby store slash sales guy a lot better than any of those other jobs that I did in the past. Although I don't like doing it without an actual hobby shop. Because I like to meet the community and talk to the community and get excited when they get excited. Like, when somebody opens up they don't really, Magic the Gathering cards, when I was selling those, you get a booster pack. You get 15 cards in a pack. People for the rush. Oh, for Canada Post, yeah. Yeah, they call Wolf. So number one here is saying they always panic and yell wolf, but they hire people for the rush. Everything will ship on time. So that's good. Unless, of course, you're trying to ship it on the 23rd, then unless you want to pay no, even then. Actually, I was surprised. The guy that ordered I built a Back to the Future slot car. You can see that on my Madcap Romanian channel. It was a combination of a Porsche and a DeLorean. But that guy ordered from Italy, and he ordered Express. It was like one of the options that gets it almost there at the end of the week. And I thought, oh, don't waste the money, right? Because those kind of expressy things only work really if you're in Canada and the thing is up the street, right? So, but he wanted to do it that way, and the package actually did arrive in a week from Canada over to Italy. So I was amazed. I thought he would have been waiting a month and a half. But anyway, so that was good. Almost lost the pulleys. So I will not glue the pulleys in because I will spray those. I could glue the little alternator on here. Oh, there's an oil filter there. No, wait, the alternator is chrome, so that won't work. I could glue the fan on, but then paint the pulleys gloss black, and the fan would be flat black. So I'd have to hand paint that in there. Okay, according to the instructions, this little guy here is the oil filter. The oil filter I can glue on, and then I can paint around it. Dakota says, I just shipped a huge box of Christmas stuff to my family in England, and I shipped express Monday, and they got it Friday morning. So that's good. In case you're wondering why I'm doing this, I've got the camera right there, so I have to look around. Okay, where's this oil filter going? Earl filter. Does it actually go on that? Yeah. Okay, there's a little pin there for the Earl, as Archie Bunker used to say. It's just right there. So that one I'm not cutting off. But I will. I could actually. What color are oil filters for Fords? I have to look that up. Maybe I should just leave this on there. Paint it, then cut it off, glue it on later. Because the sprue will hold it in place, of course. Do I just chop it off now and glue it in? Around the engine, it just sticks straight out. Oh, oil filters are white on Fords? Okay, thanks. Yeah, because I know they are with GM as well on the Delcos. Maybe it's just the sticker is different. I used to work at a Ford dealership. Worked at Dave Buck Ford. I wonder if that's still around. That was one of my first jobs, actually. And I worked at Dave Buck Ford twice. Motorcraft. That's right. Yeah, I ended up working at Dave Buck Ford twice. I worked there originally for a couple of years. No, not years. I quit to go do another job, and then that other job didn't work out. And I was traveling to visit pen pals in other countries back in the day. And so I went back to Dave Buck and I said, yeah, the other job that I was doing didn't work out. And I told them that I was going to work for them to go save up to go to Europe. That was Denmark. And they went for it. And I worked there for a month or two, saved up the money, and went traveling. So that was good. I don't think I could go and get a job from them again, though. Well, it's hard to say. Don't really want to come back and say, yeah, 25 years ago I worked for. Nah. I don't really want to go get another job. I don't even know what you need to do anymore to go get a job. It's crazy. I've been doing the hobby shop for 17 years, going on 18. It's like I've established my own universe. Do I want to go work for somebody? Uh, do I? Number one is asking if I buy product from other shops and stores that have downsized. I would like to. I had opportunity to, but I didn't have the money to. There was one place that was closing up maybe about 7 years ago, and they had all kinds of models and they were auctioning them off, and I had no money. So I missed out on models like the Creature from the Black Lagoon and like the Polar Lights edition. I don't know what else. And then I've sold some of my stuff out of my own collection back in the past, although I hate doing that because what are we doing for time here? I had a model kit of Robbie the Robot from Polar Lights, I guess. I'm trying to think of the movie that was in. I can see it in my brain. The poster. I can't read what the poster says. Forbidden Planet. Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet. That model kit. And I always liked Robbie the Robot. And I had. They came out with Guitar Hero back in the day for PlayStation 2. And I think I had all of them in the guitars and everything. Still got all that stuff. And they had this on one of the last versions of that game, they had a character on there that was sort of a Robbie the Robot, sort of a Robbie the Robot. You could also change him into a gumball machine. It was really funny stuff. But anyway, I think I'll glue the carburetor on here. So again, a little bit of fit and finish issue with the carburetor going in that hole. So this Robbie the Robot, when you turn him into the gumball machine, he was red. And his head was like a gumball machine thing. So my wife, uh, the wholesaler I dealt with in Calgary, that's no longer around, they had one of the Robbie the Robots. Actually, they had a stack of them at the time. So Christmas was coming, and I went up there with some money, and I bought myself the Robbie the Robot. And it kind of, I didn't get a chance. Oh, like I gave it to my wife so she could wrap it and say, "Oh, here's from me," right? Seems to be my life. Nobody buys me Christmas gifts. I buy myself them and then give them to them to wrap. Well, at any rate, so this Robbie the Robot, I had it. And so at one of the stores, somebody came in and they're like, "Do you have the Robbie the Robot? I really want the Robbie the Robot." So I figured, I have one. It's mine. I'll sell it to you. Okay, right? And then I'll go get another one. So I sold it to the guy, went up to the wholesaler. They sold out of them. And then Polar Lights wasn't making them anymore. And Robbie the Robot has not come out since. And I don't have eBay and all the rest of that jazz. So I am without Robbie the Robot. And that makes me sad. So anyway, I don't like selling stuff out of my own collection because I know I'm not going to get enough money up together to buy myself that kind of thing. And it'll be gone forever. Forever. So anyway, unless I get into a state of mind where I don't really care if that thing's gone forever. But for the most part, usually I do care that that thing's gone forever. Plus, if I'm making YouTube videos now, like this one or others, I can always, build this stuff and show everybody how it goes together. My little Monster Hobbies mechanics. But if I'm selling it all, it's gone. And then there's sort of like, oh wow, there's a little teeny part right here. There's the other thing in my mind. If I buy something and mentally I dedicate this, let's say I'm selling this model, and I mentally dedicate that I'm selling it to the store, then I don't mind selling it because I know mentally I bought this to sell to whoever, right? But if I buy it for myself, then it becomes a different thought, right? It becomes I bought this for my collection. I really want it on my shelf. I really want to build it. I want to have the fun with it and all that. And then somebody else wants to buy it. So it's like, okay, now what do I do? So that's my dilemma, if that's even a viable dilemma. You got to do what you love, right? Problem is, I love what I'm trying to sell. Anyway, what I'm looking for is a sprue with the exhaust manifolds. Where did that go? Okay, this is baffling. Where is that? Oh, here it is. That was just underneath the stuff there. Okay, so nice that 11 people are in the room. Is everybody having a good time? I know I'm just kind of talking to myself. It's quite bizarre. It's just like every other day. Are the exhaust headers on this thing painted Ford blue, or did they take them off, paint them steel, and then they're not paint them steel? Just leave them steel cast and stick them back on. I would be referencing or looking up my reference material on here, but I think I can only do the live stream. I don't think I can open up a second window to check on stuff. I don't want to try. In case I accidentally boot everybody off doing that. So I guess I will just clean these up for now and then take a look. Got 15 minutes left on the live stream. Then I must depart. Because we deal with Games Workshop Warhammer stuff. And one of my customers, so Games Workshop is pretty kind of backed up right now. Oh, let's see. Walmart is seeing the error they made when they stopped selling models. Now it looks like they're going back on the shelf. That could be a blessing and a curse. I remember when Walmart had the 4-packs and they were selling them for $20 each. Now that was pretty bad because, of course, I'm trying to sell models for real retail and Walmart's just trying to get them out the door and don't care. But I was able to get 4 for the price of less than 1. So that was the good part. The bad part is I had to keep competing with Walmart. But then what I'm seeing is it's not every Walmart. It seems to be select Walmarts. Because I'm probably on 30 or 40 different Facebook groups, as many of you know. Every week I seem to, would you call it spam or would you just call it a share? But every group I'm on gets here's next week's unboxing video. One of those notifications. But I watch what people are saying, and some people are posting like the big cardboard display of all the models at Walmart. And other people are saying, well, I don't get that up here in, New Jersey or Phoenix or something like that. So I guess it really depends on who is going in there. But have any of you ever looked at Walmart to order a model car? My local Walmarts are showing it on the shelves with price points. That's JC. So I looked up a Walmart online. Okay. And yeah, there's a Walmart Canada and a Walmart USA. I accidentally signed up on Walmart USA and they're bombarding my email box every day with like stuff. But anyway, a model car on Walmart online is selling for about $150. Like, oh my God, $150. I can get you a model kit for 42 Canadian, which ends up being, I think, I don't know what it ends up, 32 or 36 or something. Our dollar currently, according to the radio yesterday, is 77 cents to the US. So that means an American dollar is worth $1.23. Is that right? $1.23 Canadian. And a Canadian, oh no. How does exchange rate work again? It's like a teeter-totter, right? So if the American dollar is up, we got to pay more Canadian dollars to make it balance. If the US dollar is low, that means we can buy more stuff from the States. And normally it seems like our dollar's been up around the 82 cent mark. So it's, oh man, I remember when I started my business, the Canadian dollar was really hurting. It was at like 63 cents to the US dollar. And I spent a fortune trying to bring stuff up from the States. Which ironically, again, it's cheaper for me to order from my American wholesalers than it actually is to order from my Canadian ones. So what's up with that? Like buy a lot, like almost buy another model car for the difference from dealing with the Canadian wholesaler. And that's from New Jersey. So New Jersey, coming all the way up from Alberta and everything, with the American exchange, with our dollar being crappy, with all that stuff, fuel surcharges, um, UPS, whatever, filling out the paperwork, all that jazz, still ends up being cheaper for me to do that than to order from British Columbia. What's up with that? Someone explain that to me. I think the wholesaler in BC is ordering from the States and then getting their cut out of it. But at any rate, the ins and outs of the hobby world. But yeah, so we got 10 minutes left. Oh, so what I was going to say is this customer's Games Workshop order came in, and he's been waiting for that for months. Because what Games Workshop did is they said they have a thing on their website called the Rumor Mill, and the Rumor Mill is they're going to release a couple little pictures of what's coming up down the road. So what Games Workshop did is they've got an army called the Stormcast Eternals. So this is for the new Age of Sigmar, which is a new fantasy for Warhammer, basically. So they came up with these models that are kind of based off of, I guess, the Roman army of, the 5th century or whatever it is, BC, AD, And these guys have all this big Roman style shields and uniforms with the metal plate, right? So they've redesigned them, and they've got them now riding dragons. Hey, how's it going, Rodrageous? So anyway, greetings from Canadian Texas, Alberta, land of oil and cold weather. Woo. Anyway, so Games Workshop's released these dragons, and the Stormcast Eternals are riding on the dragons, and they've got a new dragon hero that helps the Stormcast Eternals, and then there's a second one that's sort of like yin yang dragon brothers, right, or something. So anyway, they released this information about 3 months back, and now they're just releasing the models this Saturday. So my customer he's a good guy, don't get me wrong, but he's been excited. Him and his dad have been excited for these dragons because they figured 3 months ago that they were coming out the next Saturday or the Saturday after. Games Workshop has been behind on this, and they're now coming out 3 months later. So my customer is really geared to get these dragons, and I have them. So after this podcast is over, I'll be taking the dragons over to him. Yeah, Roman soldiers riding dragons. The army I want them to remake. And so what happened with Warhammer is they came up with this. They used to do Warhammer Fantasy, and it was all a tabletop battle game. So all your armies are marching in block formation around the table, like it's the Napoleonic era, and they fight. And like dwarves have cannons and guns, and there's humans with swords and shields, and then there's like all the vampires and the demons and the elves and everything else, right? So they had them all as individual armies. And then they got some new executives in at Games Workshop, and they said, oh, we can't sell enough of the fantasy models because people will just buy dwarves and then they're done, right? So we'll completely erase fantasy and come out with Age of Sigmar, not give any point values of how much your guys are worth, and go at it. Well, boy, everything kind of fell to pieces. So they've been rebuilding Age of Sigmar because they fired that guy and they got new guys. And the new guys were sort of trying to make it go, not really back to fantasy, but make it playable, right? So that was in 2015 when they changed that system. And now we're at 2021. So they're reintroducing everything all new again. We're now into Age of Sigmar 3rd edition, I guess, or version 3 or whatever. And they've taken all the original armies from fantasy for the good guys, so like the dwarves, the humans, and whatever, and they made them into one army. So there's some complications in because they made them into one army, but they still act as if they're separate armies. So dwarves still don't trust elves, and humans. But anyway, it's still playable. So so now they're adding these dragons in to give it more kick and excitement. So anyway, so what's everyone saying? Rod Rage is saying looking for a little shop monster mascot, kind of rat finkish looking character or something. Not having any luck. I got my sticker. It's a sort of rat fink style Frankenstein. One of my uh, one of the what do you call them? Going back to the Warhammer Fantasy thing, I was playing Chaos Dwarfs for a while, and one of the guys that's on one of the Chaos Dwarf Facebook groups, he saw my original logo, and he's a graphic designer in Germany, and he designed up this version of it. My original one was Frankenstein standing beside an AMC Gremlin. I would have put him in the Gremlin, but because of that roof and everything on the Gremlin, I didn't know how to draw it with like the roof gone. So this graphic designer friend of mine designed this one where he's more in a AC Cobra kind of thing, and it worked out. So he said you can use it. So I trademarked it. And then if you want the stickers, I've got left and right hand sides, and these little ones here are designed for Hot Wheels, so you can make your own Monster Hobbies van for Hot Wheels. The larger one you can use on something like this Coca-Cola. So again, all that's available at www.monster-hobbies.ca. Shop today, ship around the world. Um, Free shipping on Canadian orders over $75. Anything else, just contact me, let me know. I can ship as far away as Texas and Brazil and anywhere else because we use Canada Post, so you get a tracking number and all that fun stuff. Uh, we accept credit cards and PayPal through our secure online system. So if you buy something there using your credit card, once it gets processed over on my end, and it's only just you and me and the Interact machine, once that's finished processing, all that information is dumped. So if you want to order something the following week, we need to go through all that again. But that is, of course, a secure system to protect your data. And I'm not selling it to anybody. So no Russian collusion or anything. No Romanian collusion. Uh, present company accepted. Anyway, oh boy. Let's see. I guess. Well, with the exception of that breather tube and the fan, that should complete our engine here for the day. So we got 8 people left. 5 thumbs up. Thank you for all that. When you're on the Monster Hobbies website, up on the side here, like our text box, there is a newsletter. And I know Dakota said he wanted to sign up for that newsletter, but I don't think I've got any more people yet. So sign up for that newsletter, because what I'm trying to do is I came up with this schedule here. Ta-da! This is my life now. I'm 7 days a week. I should give myself a holiday. I should complain to myself and say I need time off. I'm the only one that listens. Okay, anyway, so what I did is I put Fridays, every second Friday of the month, I am trying to release a new newsletter. Now, again, in the newsletters, I was just saying what we have for sale and a couple of pictures, and you can click on the pictures and go over and see what we have. It's like a direct link through the picture. But I don't know if that's turning people off. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to try to write some tips in there or something, so that if you don't want to shop and you're feeling like I'm bombarding you with the sales pitch, there'll be something more of a little bit of benefit than just I've got this, check out that. Do you need this? So I got to see. I think I can do it. I use Mailchimp, so anything you can think of, I think Mailchimp has it covered in an email. So I'll try to put in something like maybe a painting tip or I don't know, something model carish or model kiddish, because we sell like more than cars. if you ever checked out the website, there's like Star Trek models. I've got trading cards. I've got tools. Oh, I finally found this. This is kind of neat. I'll just maybe wrap up with this. King Cut. This is from 1940. Where is it? There's a year in here. 1946. I happen to have some of these King Cut tools. And when I say some, what I mean is I have all of these. These are wood carving bits, different shapes and sizes. And you take your block of wood and you scrape along. The only thing I don't have is a handle. And I have one of these punches. So I lost this little flyer for a while, but now I found it. So I'm going to scan this and I'm going to take pictures of the tools that I have from King Cut, 1946, and I'm going to try to sell them again. Okay, so what's everybody saying? Harry Sutton says, that sounds cool. I always wanted to paint those little characters for Warhammer. I'd see them at comic book shops. Yeah, there's a lot of customers that just bought the stuff to paint the figures. And then Gustavo is saying, do you have old 132 and 24 scale slot cars? F1 NASCARs and GTS. I was selling slot cars, Carrera ones, so they're not really oldies. But that kind of fell through when we had to close our building down because we used to race every week. But no one can race in my house. All my track is back there. But yeah, I don't really have too much in slot cars anymore. So, but you can check it out. There is a slot car section. It's Carrera. And for 32 kits, I have the 2 Fords from Lindbergh, the hot rods. But, you know, I will be rebuilding and restocking as time goes by and sales get good and money comes in. If you want, you can, you know, support me a little bit over on Patreon. That's a site on this channel. If you look up, if you go on the main page and you look in that banner that's across the top, there's like 4 little teeny buttons. I think one of them is PayPal. And if you can only give once a month, please think of me the next time. I saw that somewhere. I thought it was kind of good. But what Patreon is like, it's sort of like the Knights of Old. So the Knights of Old would go around the countryside, and in order to afford their suits of armor and feed the horse and everything else, they would go from town to town, and because they were on the holy mission or whatever, they would get food from the monasteries and stuff. But certain lords and ladies could offer the knights their patronage, which means that they would pay them, you know, a little bit here and there or whatever, just so that the knight could maintain his armor and the horse and pay the stable boy and all that stuff. So Patreon is sort of the modern internet equivalent of that. So if you like the services that I am providing and all that, then you go over on Patreon. Patreon accepts PayPal. So then there's some options over there. You can give me $1 a month or whatever you want. And that's how Patreon works. So you open a Patreon account, you use your PayPal, you click that you're going to be giving me some patronage. And then at the beginning of the month, right around the 4th or the 5th or something, it will put that money into my Patreon account, which then I can take out and use for something else. And I've been storing that into a mutual fund, and the mutual fund will grow each month as the mutual fund value increases. And then from there, I've got that in a tax-free savings account. So if I need the money to do something with it, I can take it out. It's not taxed by the government, and away we go. And that is actually, from doing that, from using YouTube money and putting it on that mutual fund, that's actually how I was, when we closed the store down, I had some money in there, which I was able to use to cover off some expenses and things and actually start running the business out of the house. So any patronage is good. And what I do with the patronage is at the end of the videos, like the Cuckoo's Nest at the very end, you'd see the credits rolling up. If you stuck all the way to the end of the video and it says, I'd like to thank my patrons, and then some of those names come up and then it goes off the screen. If you become a patron, then I'll put your name into that scroll up. So just to recognize everybody. Anyway, we are, yeah. Yeah, that's what I try to do. There is another thing if I get monetized as well, if you don't want to go through the Patreon route. And you'll see this on the Madcap Romanian channel. Getting stuffy. There's a little button that says join, and that is YouTube's version of Patreon. So if you like what I'm doing there and you don't want to go through Patreon, then click that join button. And I think over there I've got it for like $2.25 or something. I don't know what. You're kind of set at $2.25, but that's only a month. That's not even the price of one of these. Actually, I can get this for $1.99, but anyway, and that's joining that membership over there on Madcap. But when I get monetized here on the Model Car Garage, I'll open up the same thing. And currently at Madcap, so currently at Madcap, if you join, I've got a bunch of my older videos, and I'm releasing those every Friday, but only for members to see. So far, I have no members, so these videos are just firing off in there to nobody. But those are going in there. And then I was going to say on Patreon, it's if you're into slot cars, I've got 66 or more tracks that I've built, and I show you how to build the tracks. So that's Le Mans, Nürburgring, Japan, Suzuka Japan, and man, there's some, 66, 68. I can't remember. Another one I have there is the Batman track from 1966, the original one on the Batman TV show. They had an episode where they're racing this gigantic 4-lane slot car track. And I found the plans for it, and I built it using Carrera Digital, and I show you how to do it. And so that's what you're getting for the $1 complete access to 66 slot car building tracks. So yeah, because when we did the slot car races at the old store, I had a league going on, and the league was 2 months every year, so 6 leagues a year, and they were based off different things. So I had a Formula One league, and every week we'd race at a different place around the world. I would look up original Formula One race things and find out what the real schedule was, and then make that again in slot car scale. Same with NASCAR. We did one of those. We did 1960s race cars, whatever Carrera had. Formula One, Formula E, 1960s, 65, I think it was. We did street racing because they'd have the like Lamborghinis and BMWs and things like that. And then I know we had 6. And Carrera just keeps rotating these cars, puts new livery on them, and then sends them all out the door again. So we did that. I did that for at least 5 years. So it's 52 tracks a year for 5 years. And yeah, we'd repeat some over and over. But that's how we did it. So I've got all those tracks up there. So that's what your patronage for $1 a month buys. 66 slot car tracks that you can build with Carrera Digital Track. Anyway, I think I've talked an extra 10 minutes on top of this, and I got to get that package out of there because it is 3 o'clock. I'm supposed to be meeting them at 3:30. So thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This video's live stream will become what do you call that when YouTube makes this thing become a video? It becomes a video after the live stream's over. So then you can come back and watch that later and listen to me talk about old jobs all over again and build a monster contest and everything else. So like Dakota says down here, until next time, everybody, happy model building. And I will end the live stream like on those old 1970s cop shows. They'd always be like, haha, the epilogue, right? And tell some joke like, well, that was sure a good video. I don't know. I can't think of something funny to say. Well, maybe next time Danny the dog will get out of the doghouse and join us for this thing. And then they go, ha ha. Oh, yeah. And then there's always a guy with a coffee cup. Ha ha ha.